troops are fucking like intentionally failing drug tests and doing all sorts of shit to get kicked out because they don't want to go fucking die in a bloodbath over there.
Not only that, but so okay, at the end of the Biden administration, they finally had picked numbers back up in recruiting post COVID, and even pre COVID, there's been problems. It's been tough for a lot longer than recent history, honestly. Recruitment
Absolutely.
numbers in the military, but
Absolutely.
by
And
the
even
Biden
dropping
administration,
before COVID, like these don't
yeah,
sell very well. So like
but the Biden administration was slowly picking those numbers up, changing recruitment strategies, changing messaging, things like that, moving away from some of the leftover shit from the '90s and early 2000s. Honestly, that
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
stuck around for so long, and kind
Which
of
is
picking it up.
something we need to do. Like the military needs to stay. It needs to stay on point with what's going on in the world. You have to. It has to stay current to the threats that are out there. Like
Well, and in that regard, when there's still this crisis in recruiting because they're still behind, it's whereas recovering but still hemorrhaging people. What does the Trump administration do? Say if you're a black woman, we're going to fight against you getting promoted. If you're black, I actually, sorry, I think it's black or woman. Oh wait, no,
all
actually, I think
poor
it's
woman, yes.
black or brown or woman or potentially, you know,
It's
uh, maybe a
it's
little bit
Brown
liberal.
very
Like
specifically that he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be on stage
he doesn't
with.
want to be on stage next
He
to.
doesn't want
Yeah,
to be seen with. So like those are that's the worst of the worst.
yeah,
Once he
yeah.
refers to as boogers in the Epstein files,
It's so God, it's so disgusting. But like
fucking
so in the
horrible.
midst of that, with all this talk about rebuilding the military and all that shit, what do? They send out fucking
My ass.
Pete Kegstand and they undermine it. They undermine the recruiting in the military, and then they send people to war. And then they're like, the draft was like
Oh,
a
oh, wait, wait,
great
wait, no.
idea.
Don't forget, you're skipping a step here. We fired tons and tons of generals with lots of
Tons, and and still are
experience.
trying to force them out or
Yeah,
fire them.
are trying to get rid of more that aren't like super toeing the line. But there's no potential danger in getting rid of all that institutional knowledge or leadership, is there?
No, no, and that certainly doesn't cost us any money also. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
extended
yeah, yeah.
time,
I mean,
the mistakes that might happen, such as
it,
bombing a girls' school of 100 and killing 160 school children and teachers.
you
Uh,
know, accidents happen. Like
I
you got to break a few eggs every now and again.
I'd say it's war, but if you say it's war, then the media jumps on you and says you have to have congressional approval, and you just can't say it's war. So I'm
Yes,
calling it an excursion. In an excursion, sometimes 160 school children die.
yeah, totally.
So, well, let's go to the third thing that I think that has happened that
Mhm,
we can say
mhm.
is demonstrably true. Again, our first two are destroy the credibility and soft power that was the backbone of our global diplomatic relationships. He has shown an inherent weakness of the U.S. military's reliance on boutique weaponry by, at best, underestimating Iran, which itself, I think, really does kind of pop the balloon of the explosive amount of money that we spend on
Yeah,
literally and figuratively the
yeah.
explosive amount of money that we spend on our our war budget. Why do we call it a defense budget? It's a war budget. It's not the Department of Defense, it's the
It's
Department
the
of
Department
War.
of War now, so it's a war
So
budget.
our war budget of $1 trillion+, of which they want $200 billion more, but also through this warmongering and hostile trade policy has dramatically increased the cost of American life while simultaneously gutting domestic spending that would assist Americans in these specific times.
Yeah, and we're specifically right now revoking prior policies that help shield soldiers from foreclosures in times of stress or loss of pay for whatever reasons. There were safeguards in place to protect our soldiers from the shit that was happening right now with government shutdowns and funding losses and whatnot. To protect these soldiers from losing their homes and shit. They rescinded all of that and now fucking service members and vets are losing their housing left and right because
Hmm.
the insurance that was like preventing this exact thing from happening is gone.
Man, we could probably do this whole episode honestly on how Republicans have
Actually,
classically
fucking hate
had
the military.
they have had the same approach to children as they have with the
Yeah,
military. If you're preborn, you're cool. If you're pre-K, you're fucked. And
exactly.
and with the military, it's when it's politically expedient. There's not a better way to put it, honestly.
Yes.
There's not a pithy way to put it that I have in mind right
Yeah.
now. But when it's politically expedient, we're gonna bend over, we're gonna suck.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as we need to cut something,
As soon as
it's
you're out of sight,
Medicare,
it's
Social Security,
expensive.
veterans benefits every single fucking time. Every single fucking
Yep.
time.
Like clockwork. Like fucking clockwork.
Or it's sending you into a fucking ridiculous quagmire that makes no fucking sense. And we're gonna lie about the number of you
And
that have
you
been
have
killed
to,
or wounded, and it,
yeah. It's like private, it does kind of the same function as private healthcare industries where there's an inhibiting factor to the red tape and all the shit you have to go to. It pushes people away from actually seeking the care that they need and at
mhm,
the end of the day are
mhm,
paying for because
mhm,
it's extremely inconvenient and also not to mention all the psychological uh, barriers that people have towards seeking care, especially mental care.
mhm.
Especially
Absolutely, absolutely. When you're talking about a group of people that, again, Republicans and Donald Trump. I mean, listen, it's kind of parlays into something else here, actually. So I'll hold that for a second. But mental health care is so vitally important for people that have been in the military, even if they haven't seen what we would regard from like a movie watching audience standpoint as a traumatic event.
armchair psychologists or whatever. Yeah.
You don't have to see your best buddy get blown up by a grenade to need to talk to a therapist desperately,
Yeah.
because it's a mind fuck. The military is a mind fuck. Being used as a part of a machine to kill people at any level is a
Yes.
mind fuck.
Absolutely. These people aren't all the fucking. They, they're not like salivating generally at the idea of actually having to do harm to other people.
Hmm. Hmm.
Most soldiers, even like the fucking badasses of the world and shit, would probably tell you if they could avoid having to ever use these talents, like if they could flip a switch and turn on a world where they didn't have to exist, they'd do it because it's what's good for humanity overall. It's like, and I kind of feel the same way as someone who's in the healthcare industry. Like my entire life has worked revolved around like working in healthcare.
Hmm.
But like if I could flip a switch and say we got this alien pill that like kills all or takes care of all ailments, yada yada, thus putting myself out of a job permanently. Like, yeah, I would take
Yes.
that, and everyone that works in that business, almost a vast percentage, would take that too. Like, yeah, if we could make ourselves obsolete, great. Yeah,
Yeah. And on the perspective, as you shared that from that of a soldier, of a or a general, or at anywhere in between, when you're talking about the lowest of the enlisted to the highest of officer ranks and beyond, you would hope that anybody that is in that position would have that mindset.
yes,
Not even that a lot of them do. You would hope that they would. Like that should be
yes.
part
Should be
of the
prerequisite.
yeah, it should be part of the package for sure, to have that ideal of this is, it's like it's fucking Mr. Miyagi's version of karate, man. Karate is for self-defense only. It's a strict non-aggression principle. It
Yeah,
you know
100%.
um so
Because
but I wanted to say
raw aggression to me isn't real strength.
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
that's
100%.
not where moral and emotional strength lies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we see this dynamic in a lot of ways, I think, in the warrior culture that Pete Hegseth is trying to
Yes, represents
promote. this
perfect.
this this posture, it's posturing alpha male bullshit, and posturing, I
Pure
think, being
bullshit.
an important first word
Yes,
in that,
yes,
because that's what aggression like that is. It is puffing yourself up when at the end of the day, let's
yeah.
looking at Iran. If Donald Trump wanted to do this and hadn't burned every bridge with every ally we have in the
Every
world, he could have fucking done it.
Yeah,
He could have fucking done it without with assistance, with an almost like
100%
a
self-inflicted
NATO
wound.
wide assurance that, like, yeah, we support you
Absolutely.
in this, we support Israel in this action, we whatever. It would have been all he would have had to have done is not be a belligerent asshole and say this country is the largest state sponsor of terrorism, full stop, in the Middle East. And true or not, these people have classically fallen all over
True or not, yeah.
themselves to assure that, and to assist in that, in this endeavor in the Middle
I'm
East
gonna put
of.
an asterisk on that because I wanna talk about, the population and the people of Iran at some point
Sure,
as it relates
absolutely.
to all of this, so yeah, 100%.
I wanted to
This is
circle
a
back
topic
really
I've been
quick.
thinking about for a long, long time, in fact.
Let's bounce back to that really quick. I did want to say one more thing, as far as just
Mhm.
like to finish this point we're on about how the
Yeah,
Republicans
yes,
have
yes.
classically treated the military like children, the way they would children, the same way they hide behind children as literal body shields for the fucking
Yeah,
gun lobby, the way they hide behind them as shields when they start talking about morality in this country, despite the fact that they are openly aiding and abetting a pedophile sex trafficker, or at least uh, the sex trafficker's best friend and customer.
yeah,
Um,
and
a-
wife of the president.
and
Oh, wait, no, 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 she
he
said that
doesn't
wasn't
know Epstein. They're
my
not
bad, my bad.
friends.
She didn't know him, yeah,
Yeah, there's
casual
no
correspondence,
pictures of them
casual
hugging.
correspondence.
There's no pictures of her dancing in front of him. There's no pictures of them at parties together. Or, well, there are pictures of them at parties, but they just happen to be. Uh, no, so the same way that these assholes hide behind children in those respects, I am so fucking tired of the efficacy of the US military and its service members being used as a shield for pathetic aims like this illegal war in Iran. Donald Trump consistently leads statements about how he's fucking us with things like our armed forces are extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it. That's a literal quote. He says this shit all the time. It's the strength of the military has never been seen before, whatever. Hiding behind these service members while throwing them potentially, if we get boots on
It's
the ground,
it's
absolutely throwing them in
classic
the fucking
fucking
meat grinder.
misdirection. It's the
Yeah.
same fucking tool that fucking shady ass
Mhm.
salesmen and snake oil salesmen and everybody else over the it's, "Hey, look over here. I'm talking about this in the one hand, and I'm doing this in the other hand. But as long as I can keep you fucking rubes listening to what I'm talking about in this hand, what's happening over here, I can make you believe doesn't matter or is being caused by my political end."
Well, and it's fucking pathetic, because, like, at best
Insanely.
he's saying might makes right, and which itself flies in the face of what you were talking about as being what we should be the ideal mentality for a person in the US military, which is, I don't want to do this unless it's absolutely necessary. I'd prefer a world where this was never necessary, that I don't have this job. That would be
And, like,
wonderful.
I do wanna make a real quick point about that point that I made.
Mhm.
I'm not pulling this out of my ass. I have worked with, over the years, a lot of people that came to their military or their healthcare career where I worked with them through the military.
Right.
And
Yeah.
are legitimate fucking badass. I've worked with people that have been on presidential health care.
Hmm.
It's like literally the people that take care of the president and have met various presidents. Like that level of care,
Hmm.
that level of experience within the military.
Hmm.
And generally, like I know some of these people and have known some really, really well over the years. People just in the military and healthcare world. And like I feel like I can speak for a lot of them. Just that absolutely tracks. That in both cases, they would they would sacrifice the world needing them as a fighter and the world needing them as a healer if they can flip both of those switches.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, any person of any kind of compassion,
Mhm.
any person that can see outside of themselves
Wait, did you
meaningfully
hear empathy is
should,
bad? Empathy is toxic now.
well, listen, you know, the guy that said that eh, died tragically
Something.
by spontaneous neck implosion.
Oh, oh wait,
So, uh,
it's got a weird twinge there for some reason.
yeah. So, it's you kind of gotta take that with a grain of salt.
Fair enough. Well put.
Ugh, ugh.
Yeah, okay.
But let's fucking
Anyway,
you know
enough of that guy.
let's talk about her all.